Hey, what's up, everybody? You are watching on the Town with Tanya, and I'm your host. Thank you for joining us again this week. We appreciate you. Please share the video if you get a chance. So tonight's guest was an English teacher for I think it was over 32 years, and now is a songwriter, singer, and most importantly, well, the teaching is the most important, but most new for us is he's also a director. The name of the film is let's see. I was looking at your IBM here. Let's see. There's Shadowlands. Please welcome director Dennis Polanco. Hi.
Hi, Tanya.
How are
Thank you
you?
for having me. This is awesome. This is great. I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for showing up for us. We appreciate you. We hope that somebody will be inspired today. So you originally, what you probably still are a teacher, correct? You still
Yeah,
teach?
yeah. 32 years, 10 years in the boogie down South Bronx, and just completed my 23rd year at White Plains. Loving it, living it.
20 at White Plains? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw something nice that the parent had said about you. So I know you're a beloved teacher, which is very important. So, yeah,
Yeah, I hope so. When you're real with kids, everything's so much easier. But
excellent.
they can tell a fake a mile away. And the day comes when I get a little tired and I'm trying to fake it. My
Mhm.
kids are gonna let me know, like, But I'm having a great time. I love my job, and it's been my financial egg that
Mhm.
allows me to do the art, and I
Mm.
love my art.
How did you transition, or when was the moment that you said, you know what, there's more lessons to be given. Let me try it in this arena. Because you sing and you direct. So,
Yeah, well, I've been singing for some time. I released my first album back in the year 2000, and that's always been a constant. I love my writing. I love telling stories through songwriting.
mhm.
But recently, because I've always had my hand on filming videos, music videos, whether it's my students, my own children, but I came to realize I really wanted to tell a longer story, a more in-depth story about in particular, three kids that I lost in my teaching career. I lost to gang violence and selling on the wrong corner and drive-by shootings. And I figured, you know what? Let me tell their story and make a character that's a composite of all three. And that's what happened with Shadowlands. It was a necessity I had to get out. It was not only an importance for me as a director to kind of like understand what it is to really walk through these waters, but also to tell their story.
Mhm.
And luckily Amazon bought it. Amazon loved it, and I did a couple of film festivals before that. It got some recognition. Amazon knocked on my door. I was like, yeah, this is my little baby, little engine that could.
Wow. Well, how did you? So, because when you write films, it's different than writing, memoir or books or whatever. So, how did you do that transition? Or as a English teacher, I guess maybe you had studied writing or knew about how to do films.
Well, it's funny. I graduated from the High School of Art and Design on 57th Street in Manhattan, and I was a media major, so I was writing film, but I
Ah,
chose the route of teaching, and then from that point on, years later, eons later, after having taught great plays and I'm a big film buff,
mhm.
I figured, why not give it a shot? And I had a story to tell. I've got several stories to tell, but this was perhaps the most important one I had to get out first, is really understand what it was to play director, play producer,
Right,
play supporting actor, all those things.
right.
But that's essentially how it started. It's just been, call me a late bloomer.
Well, was the acting first, or did Shadowlands come first?
I think the acting came in the classroom for 30 years. Acting, performing, whether it's poetry, short stories, just really enacting, taking on roles, really enlivening kids and inspiring kids to read and write through my acting.
Mhm.
I think that's how I became a seasoned vet in the classroom.
Right, right.
And then I wanted to transpose that into the film. It was
Wow.
important to do that, yeah.
That's wow. I think when I look at your resume, I think, wow, this guy's doing everything that he loves to do and that he was born to do, which is very few of us can say that. Usually, we're doing what we have to do.
Yeah,
Doing the film, working with the kids, which is very big. That's the biggest thing
yeah.
of all, because you're affecting a future of a life. So, and then finding another medium to affect them even more is just brilliant. So I appreciate. So you yourself had played in let me see, King of Staten Island as one in 2020, right? Coming to America, and FBI Most Wanted, my favorite show. um, how did you get into that to the acting part?
Well, again, I've been doing a couple of stand-ins and walk-in roles, and nothing really too major. But I think the honest answer I can provide here is that the real actor is my daughter. My daughter's been on Orange Is the New Black, and she
Yes.
has a SAG card, and so for me to really make this work, I had to ask my daughter, who was at 11 at the time,
Mhm.
perform this particular role, which was actually very demanding. It was a role that required that she be a seasoned street kid.
Right.
So, and of course, she had the chops with it. So I really am not the actor here. I think if anyone is the actor, it's my daughter,
It's your
and
daughter.
she's doing quite well. Yeah, she's actually at Yale right now, and
Oh wow.
yeah, she's studying environmental
Awesome.
sustainability, but she's also got the theater in mind.
Wow, what a brilliant brilliant child it sounds like you have there. Well, young lady actually now.
Yeah.
But I saw her the clip and her in the role, and we'll play a clip in a minute. But she was very brilliant to be. She's like totally opposite of that character. Which
Yeah, which is a testament to what she's all about.
yes.
And it's funny, when I wrote the script, which is again, it's rated R, it's an urban music drama.
Mhm.
So I incorporated my music in it. It was live music. My daughter, who's a musician as well, I had her read the script, and she was like, "You want me to say these things?" I was like, "Yeah." You want me to smoke that? I was like, "Well, not exactly, but we'll get like some Amazon coconut flavored, like non-nicotine cigarettes." She's like, "But
Or-
does mama know?" I was like, let's go ask her." My wife initially said no when she read the first 5 pages. No, she said, "Hell no."
oh,
But then I was like, "Babe, just read the rest of the script. Please tell me what you think." By the end of reading the script, my wife gave the strong heads up, thumbs up,
right.
cried and said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, you gotta get this done. You gotta get this done." And
Good.
she gave my daughter the green light. I'll be honest with you, the actor here is my daughter. She
Mm,
she had to be in this
yes.
movie, and she carried it, and I applaud her for and also I wrote it as a vehicle for my daughter because she was doing small roles here and there, but I figured why not create a vehicle for her
Mm.
to launch her, and then soon after that, Orange Is the New Black happened.
Wow, brilliant. Go, Dad. We need more dads like you. Uh,
Mm,
that's absolutely brilliant. She is brilliant in this role, and you're right. She does carry it because her character is crucial throughout the whole film. So
yeah.
we're gonna go to a clip. You want to set it up for me? I mean, we're gonna do the trailer. Excuse me, correction. You want to set this up for me, or should we just play it?
Yeah, it's a very simple trailer in that it doesn't tell too much of the story, but it's very ambiguous. I
Mhm.
like the mystique to it all, and
Yeah.
play ahead, check it out.
All right, guys, just hold back and let's see how good I can do this. Let's see. This way. Wrong one. Psyched. Okay, so let me see. Present. Share screen. Is that the one? I'm not sharing screen. No. Okay. Tanya's learning. Don't worry. Extra camera video file. I thought I had this down, but apparently, yes, that's right. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. So sit back and check out Shadowlands.
Baby, do you know this man? He looks like Daddy.
There is no hanging out after school. You come back home, you have 2 hours to do your homework.
I'm living with the crazy uncle.
Did you pray today?
You don't know. You don't know nothing about the shit I'm going through.
Today? Did you walk out into
You only get one chance, one life in that body. Respect yourself, respect your temper.
I know the word is right. Keep moving, gotta keep moving. Don't stop now. got a long way to go. What's your name? Who's to blame? Make your claim. Yeah.
Wow. So that is that was something else there.
You saw that coconut flavor smoke going out, right?
Saw that.
All the
That's a
nicotine.
great scene. My favorite is the opening shot of her, and you pan in or out. You pan in or out when she's
Yeah, zoom in, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a zoom in. Sorry, that's my favorite shot. It's like whoa, because it draws you right in, and as she's sitting there, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I just I can't wait to see the whole thing because it's she really does something to that role, and more importantly, it's based on real stuff, you
Right.
know, which is what I really like because a lot of
Yeah.
times, yeah, young people I think see themselves. They can see the better, bigger picture through something else, a medium that they like, music, which I like your music, by the way. I love the
Thank you.
soundtrack.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I'm alternative, like little indie vibe, and
Yeah.
but to your point about the story that I have to tell, it was again, I lost 3 kids in 32 years, 3 students to the streets, and her character Natalie is a composite of those 3. Um, and it was it's been a wonderful, strong reaction from many people who do see it, and it's important that I get that down as a testament to these kids who could have led better lives if not for if they had had an uncle like David, who I play.
Right.
But even David, my role is a down and out guy who's made mistakes. He has a criminal record, and he's been there. He's walked that dead end, and he's trying to enlighten this young niece of hers
Mhm.
that's the same path she'll be leading if she doesn't wise up now. And he tries to introduce running and songwriting as means to really get her off the streets.
Wow.
So yeah, check it out. It's a very I'm very proud of the efforts we all put in, not only
Mhm.
myself, but the ragtag guerrilla filmmaking efforts of everyone I hired from Purchase College, or my wife was holding the camera, and my
Wow.
son was in the back of the car, and we're filming at 4 in the morning, the running scenes. It was a beautiful collaborative effort. It was a lot of learning on my part too, because again, it's very rough. It's very indie. Nothing's perfect. We have a very low budget. It cost me about 3,000 to make the movie, but in total, 10,000 with all the advertising efforts just to get it out there, and it's really paying back wonderful dividends.
Oh, that's great. What did your students think?
My kids love it. My
I
students,
know
I
they
did.
yeah.
They love it, and I have to warn them. It's funny because I had the premiere at a public library where I had all my students come in and check it out, and they were just floored by it. They were floored by it because it spoke to them. They understand a street culture, and or at least some of my rougher kids do. And they were just look at me. They're not like, "Yo, Polanco, you got it. You got it." I was like, "Thank you, thank you."
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
again, if anything, it's a testament to the 3 kids I lost.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's do you dedicate their names at the end of the film in the credits?
Yeah, I do. I
Oh,
do. And but it's also, you know, it was the easiest movie I could have done because I considered other options, other movies to consider, but this was the movie first and foremost that my heart had to do. It was also the second movie that financially was viable
okay.
because I could shoot on the street, I could shoot at small apartments, I could shoot in the school and get permission from my principal. So yeah, it's such a difficult course to take when it comes to filming a movie. That 2 hour, 15-minute movie took us 2 years to film.
Oh,
So it
wow.
took my daughter from the age of 11 to 13. She saw
Mhm.
it from the age of 11. We wrapped up at 13 because time. we're all working people. She's a working student. I'm a working parent, and we're all
Right.
doing our part.
Right. That makes it harder. When you so is that's your first film that you've done, right? Correct.
Yeah, but I've done at least 11 music videos before that.
Oh
And the
wow.
music videos were wonderful because that's where I really earned my chops. I learned everything about holding a stabilizer and using a DSLR, 35 millimeters, and different lenses. I'm still a novice. We're all learning. I'm still learning, and I would imagine that my next movie is going to be that much better in every way. I don't know about the storytelling because I can't choose from my babies, but I think technically a lot better, a lot
Right.
stronger.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, have you been inspired lately to tell another story?
Yeah.
Are you working at, so you're working on other stuff?
Well, I have 2 scripts done. I have one in particular that, I won't share too much, but I'll
No,
say
no, no,
that
definitely not. Yeah.
it's a dystopian America where a certain presidential candidate wins a second term
Okay.
and Spanish is banned, the wall is built.
Oh,
So it's a different kind of America, and I have to tell that story.
okay.
I also have another.
That sounds good. That sounds like uh
It's a
our
what if.
yeah, that sounds really good. I think it's good. I saw you said something about Latinos in Hollywood in the industry, in film, and that was one of the things that inspired you. Tell me more about that because that's kind of how I started writing. For the
Right.
same. Yeah.
Well, I'm 54 years old, and you and I come from a generation where we saw a lot of TV where we were gravely underrepresented,
Mhm.
and 1 or 2 shows is just not going to cut it for me.
Right.
Uh, and I just felt that no one was writing for me. No one was writing for a demographic that I felt needed more representation.
Mhm.
So it's probably in the back of my mind. I'm not very conscious of it, other than the fact that I find myself telling these stories, and it's important. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I had a friend who said, "Hey, you're like the Latino Spike Lee." I'm like, I don't know. That's Spike Lee is just well beyond my consideration. I'm in
Well,
awe.
that opening shot did remind me of a Spike, like a Spike Lee joint. I will say that that opening
Yeah.
shot got me,
Yeah,
got me.
and like Spike Lee, he had to start somewhere. He started small, NYU, and then he just built up his nice little crew from school. And I'm there also. I have to tell these stories to really represent a demographic that is highly underrepresented still.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
absolutely. That's awesome because it is there's so many underrepresented groups, and more of us have to pick up pens in order to change that. We
yeah,
can't expect somebody to come and say, yeah, we're going to write a Latino superhero. Sure, that's not going to happen unless we do it. So I think it's great that you're trying to create your own change.
yeah.
Um, who are
And
some,
Tanya, can I just add something to that too? I just feel that as much as I was a late bloomer, I think I think my 20s and 30s, I was crippled by a sense of fear and not really sure if I could actually commit myself to such an endeavor. And by the time I was in my early 40s, I was like, to hell with this. I've got the story has to be told.
right?
So yeah, to your point, I just felt that I have to tell that story to represent people and to really give a voice to people who are often unheard.
Right. Well, that's commendable because it's hard to get a voice these days in any genre. And so, how did you get into the singing songwriting? I mean, you said you've been doing that forever, but like, was it? Did you say, "Well, I'm going to do the soundtrack. Why not?" Because I have the songs that would, justify them. Everything.
Yeah. That was the easy part.
Mm,
That
you
was
love
really wonderful because I felt that, well, why hire a musician when I've got the chops and I've got some songs to tell? Not only that, my son has incorporated some great songs in it. My daughter wrote
family.
several
Yeah.
songs in it. So, luckily for me, we've got a nice little Von Trapp family that seems to be doing it right. But I was like, yeah, well, let me write this story and sprinkle these songs in it to make it an urban music drama, make it interesting.
Mm,
But yeah, I don't know. Tanya, when I was younger, I didn't intend this to happen. I was just a songwriter and I loved telling stories via music and melody. And as the years went on, I just felt that I had to maybe tap into that high school voice, that high school Dennis Polanco that majored in media,
Right.
that was filming small little bits, small 5-minute movies in high school, and
Mhm.
never really got to see that fruition come to place. And it's just doing it now. I don't understand how it all seems to be meshing together, but it's working out.
Wow, I'll tell you. What was the toughest part of filming Shadowlands, if there was?
There were many. I'd say from the first day on, whether not cooperating or
Um,
tending to, just really demanding a certain kind of rigor from cinematographers or cameramen, and yeah, I'm working with young people
right.
who are, they know that it's an advantage for them to really get this on their resume, but it's also, they're young and they're not understanding of the professionalism I require. So, but ultimately, the hardest part was working with my daughter in regards to her school schedule. She was all in on it. She was
Right.
all in on it.
Mhm.
But because it's dad, there were moments where, she and I would just and it, and then she put in her 2 cents because through the years I've helped her become the actor she is,
Right.
and it's been fun. It's been hilarious. But I think the hardest part was doubt.
Mm,
Doubt from day
mm,
one, doubting
right.
whether I could get this done. 2 years later, when I had it done and I premiered it at a nice theater not too far from here, I had all my family, friends in, and then
Mhm.
I shopped it on when the Hope Film Festival knocked on my door and said, "We would love to feature your film in an independent category.
Mm,
Would you like to come down to our festival and share your story and view your movie?" I was like, "Hell yeah. Let's
right.
do this thing. Let's do
Right.
it."
Wow.
But, yeah, tons of rejections in terms of film festivals, but they and 2 others said yes, and then Amazon said yes too, so,
That is great. That is absolutely fabulous. To me, it doesn't matter where, as long as someone says a yes, we're happy. Because
yeah,
some people they go for the ultimate saying, "I want my movie in the theaters everywhere," so they don't do it because they don't think they can get to that level. It's like start anywhere, and then you worry about the other level. You'll get to wherever you need to go, but you got to start first. So, 2 years to make a film. Wow,
yeah,
that's a lot of commitment requires a good team.
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think goes into what it goes into your process when you're actually when you're writing for your characters? Do you are you already inspired by something else, so you came up with the character because they're people based on people you may know or know of, or you literally have to be inspired and find them?
I think this particular script went through different stages. Initially, it was a very short sketch where Natalie was always the character, but she was inspired by a homeless man, and it really didn't get far. I needed some time off from that particular script, and then I started flushing it out. I must have gone through 5 different renditions of the script,
Mm,
and then drafting it another 3 times or so until it was right. And then on top of that, I wanted to get back to your point about or your question about what the most difficult parts of the movie. Making the movie was not only the technical aspect and hiring people
mm,
and working with family, but telling a gritty urban drama that's
right.
realistic and coupling that with some magical realism, because there's
Mm,
some magical realism in this movie, and you'll know about that. It kicks in around 20 minutes in, and then it drops in again later on in the movie, and that magical realism had to work, and it worked through the storytelling and, of course, my daughter's acting. It was very compelling, so,
mm.
yeah, my process is just writing, 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 really buying a tons of Starbucks and just losing myself in the cafe and then just coming out of that. Sometimes the process, it's I go into it. It's like a trial by fire. I'm like a phoenix, and I'm just losing myself for a good several days before God.
Mm.
I've already got my second movie done in regards to the screenplay.
Oh,
Now it's
really?
oh yeah, it's done. It's done. The dystopian one is ready to go. The
What?
problem is,
How long did that take?
that took about a year. Took about a year. But the problem with that is the funding. This
Okay.
as much as I paid, as much as it cost me 10,000 to make Shadowlands, this baby's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a
Uh,
lot, and I'm waiting on funding, or I might just consider Cannes Film Festival has a
yes.
category called Catalyst, and
Yes.
I might take a 5 minute. I might film a 5 minute scene from this new movie, send it to Catalyst, and hope that it wins. And if
Uh,
it does, then they'll fund it, and we're good to go.
oh, that is great. Yeah, I think you should definitely. I mean, obviously, you follow your gut, and your gut says make it. Go for it. Whatever you got to do, make it happen. Because there's people out there that will fund it. It's just finding them. I guess that's what producers are for, right?
Yeah,
But when you do it all, when you're wearing all the hats, it becomes more like, okay, we got to make time for this. It'll happen. I'm sure it'll
yeah.
happen. I'm
And
excited.
tell you that's the hardest thing that I've had to learn, the business side,
Yes.
really pitching my art,
Yes.
making it work. I'm not a very good salesman, so I had to learn to become a better salesman,
Mhm.
and that's what this next thing will be. I just have to. It's all it takes is 5 minutes, but it has to be the most compelling 5 minute mini movie standalone. That's a part of a scene of my bigger picture that can speak for me and hopefully. Whether it's Catalyst and Cannes Film Festival. I'm sorry, I meant Sundance. In
Sundance.
Sundance,
Sundance.
Sundance is Catalyst. But whether it's that program or any other program I pitch it to, I'm hoping that the funding will come through for this.
Nice. Have you ever tried the crowdfunding? Because I know some people that did that, and they actually raised a lot of money. I was like, how did you do that? But they really organized it really well and gave, you get to come to premiere, they give things or something like that. You get
All
title
right.
as associate producer, whatever.
Yeah.
They offered things along with it, but they raised, I think they were looking for like something like 25,000. They got like 150,000. I was like, how'd you do that? So
Yeah. I'm sure a
money's
lot
there.
of it depends on the premise, right? If the premise really speaks to a lot of people and what they want to see, they'll put $1 in, 5, 10, 20, whatever it might be. It's something I want to consider too. I've got a it's funny, I've got a list of ventures in terms of like
Mhm.
funding ventures and crowdfunding is one of them. Different independent film festivals is another. So yeah, and then on top of that, I'm still teaching.
I was going to say, and
Still
that's
working.
probably how you still stay afloat. Because I was going to ask,
Yeah,
how do you stay afloat? A lot of people have to, have their hands in many pots while they're doing what they love, because
yeah,
it can be expensive.
yeah.
Uh,
And that was another reason why like Shadowlands took 2 years to make because I had to work,
right,
and I would have loved to invest 2 to 3 months in filming the movie and call it a day, but that just wasn't the case. But
right,
but,
right.
but I'm sure this next movie will be that much shorter because time is money when it comes to people funding or at least organizations funding movie money into a movie.
Mhm.
Time is money, so I'm all for it. I can't wait. I can't wait for my next stage
Mhm.
in a profession that requires that I maybe direct,
Mm.
maybe act and direct. I can't wait for that.
Wow. Well, it's coming, so be ready.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you, who are some of your the people that influence you in film, some filmmakers? Do you have
Spike,
anybody? Spike.
Spike Lee. He's probably my number one.
Yeah.
uh, because of the fact I love his story, and I'm a big fan of Do the Right Thing and so many other great movies he's made. X, of course, and I also teach these movies. I teach African American lit, I teach Latino literature, and these are movies that I share with my students. So I love to have them inspired, but I
Mhm.
love just studying. I love studying the art of filmmaking through Spike Lee's vision. Um, I'm a
Mm.
big fan of a lot of great realistic independent movies as well. But I would have to say that Spike Lee's he's a visionary, and
Yeah.
he's someone that I would love to I would love to be in his shadow and learn and watch him.
He's awesome. Yeah, I just remember him coming. What we thought came out of nowhere, but he didn't. He went to school. I think he did. Did he go to film school or did he
It was
not?
Tisch, yeah, Tisch School of the Arts.
Yeah, he went to
And
Tisch. I
now
was gonna say, my alma mater there. But it just he just wasn't taking anybody's answers, yes or no. He was just making his own table from day one.
yeah.
He came in like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and everybody's
Mm,
like, but he didn't care, and he just kept at it. So, and now he's like, he's amazing,
yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and even more so, the tidal wave of resentment that Hollywood at the time had for him because they just felt that, he was volatile, he was dangerous, but he
Those,
was only telling the truth, right? He was telling the truth, and it was a truth that America needed at the time. It was a hard pill to swallow.
yes,
So, yeah, I
yes.
would have to say Spike Lee is my guy, man. I love his stuff. I love it from the comedies to everything else. I'm a big Tarantino fan too, and
Oh, that's my favorite. One of my favorites. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I just love his witty writing, and he and his co-writer for Pulp Fiction, but big fan of his eye.
Mm,
Telling his story through that particular eye has been fun,
yes. Yes. My
entertaining.
favorite. Yeah. From Dusk to Dawn was my favorite of his.
Uh,
Um, Quentin. Yeah. Just because it was, you can usually can never shock me in a movie, and I usually always can guess what the ending's going to be. I did
yeah.
not expect that. So
No
I
one
did
saw what was going to happen after that bar scene. No one saw
No,
it. Yeah,
I did not see that at all. I usually can be like, yeah, something sinner's about to happen, but I could not tell anything, and I was like, oh, what? My favorite, a vampire movie? Get out! So, anyway, I like the element of surprise. What do you see the film industry in like the next year or two? Because a lot of things have changed since the pandemic. People want to be online now, which is a good thing, and actually maybe in a way
yeah,
for independent filmmakers. I think that's
yeah.
good. But it could be a nightmare for other people who want the blockbuster hits and have people out. So
Yeah. Look, streaming revenues are coming in, Tanya. They're not bad. I'm happy with the streaming revenues. That little check I get every 2 years is nice.
right,
I wish it could be better
right,
because what happens is everyone and their grandmas getting movies out. I get that,
right.
but there's no arguing the fact that you still have to tell a great story, a unique story,
Mm,
free from cliche.
mm,
So I'm hoping that the Hollywood industry continues doing beating on its drum, and I think it's important. I want to get on that wagon
right,
because that's where a lot of the money's at.
yes,
But I just love the fact that indie artists and indie filmmakers are still trudging through, and I love the fact that Netflix, HBO, you've got
yes,
some gritty storytelling out there now, and if they're watching Shadowlands or my next projects and they'd like to consider me as a story writer, as a screenplay writer, I'd jump on that as well. I have
right,
to learn to be multifaceted
yes,
and begin to multitask to
mhm,
to survive in this particular industry.
absolutely,
It's new to me, so I got blinds on. I'm good. I'm
right,
going to just stay focused and
right,
try not to doubt myself.
right.
I'm very positive. I think I'm positive about it. We have to adapt.
That's it.
The culture and the film industry has to adapt. Are people
Mm,
going to go to the film to watch movies in theaters more so? Probably not.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I went.
depends.
I haven't seen many people. I hate to say it, at least over here, I haven't seen many people in London. When I go, it's usually I'm trying to think. Even it was a so one night there was one time. Sorry, when Women King played here in London, and the immediate cast came. Viola Davis and them
Yeah,
came.
yeah,
That was packed, but that's probably because it was all the BAFTA people. But that's probably why it was packed. The selected people to be
yeah,
in
yeah,
there. So maybe that's why. But the other movies that I've seen, it was literally like I can count how many people were in the theater. Just saying.
yeah.
Maybe I don't know if people are still scared or they're just like, who cares? Because now I can go sit at my living room and watch it. I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah.
So it's a
And
challenge.
I'm very concerned about how indie filmmakers can ever get on that big screen again because again I think a lot of the film industry people are not pushing that particular genre on the big screen anymore.
Mm.
It's all about the blockbuster, and it's all about sales at the end of the day. So, and people want to see their, Fast and Furious Part 20, and
Okay.
but it's also dumbing down our audience.
It
It really
is.
is. I do love still going. I'm in the city, New York City, so I love going to Angelica Film Center. I
I love
love
that.
going to Jacob Burns Center. I'm going to put the time in because I'm a big fan of film, but
Right.
unfortunately, if we're not getting the push and the support from the film industry to continue to laud independent film, it's going to be a hard sell for us to get that piece of the pie. So
Mm.
what you're going to get are the big blockbusters. That's about it.
Mm. That would be very scary. That's all that can dominate. It's like having all the banks on your corner, and
Yeah,
like no real mom and pop stores anymore. That's kind of what that would be like.
that's what it is. You're right, Tanya. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? Hey, TV's not that bad now. TV's looking great, and if I can get my stuff on TV, I'm all right with that. I'm all right
Right.
with that. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. I think you can. I think it's a matter. I mean, I think the big blockbuster people have the best marketing team, the best PR, the best, the big budget. That's
Mm,
how they get where they are. Because some of the things they put in the theater, I'm like, how did that make it? Because of
right,
what?
right,
So if that's the case, I mean, so I just say keep tugging away at it until you get exactly what you want, because it's important to hear everyone's story, no matter how big a budget someone has, in my opinion, because without that, then we only, like you said, we're only going to see the blockbuster hits and we're going to think life is like that. And that's all it is. And that's not reality at all. I need to see some of the gritty stuff. I need to see some of the pretty stuff, some of the different stuff. I need to see all of that, because
right,
that's how we get, our kids. We cannot have them just have one track mind. That's all I can say,
yeah,
because it could be very scary if that's all. If only certain people are allowed to make those great movies, as they say. So
right.
I appreciate you trying, and I'm one of those people. I do, when I hear someone like yourself, I do try to go out and support it, because I know that's the only way it's going to keep being seen. So
Right, right.
let's see what happens, guys. If you get a chance, go and see that on Amazon. And Amazon, what's it called? Tubi. And
Yeah, Tubi TV's coming out. I mean, they're the second ones who put Shadowlands up. I'm really happy about that. And they
okay,
put it up for free. So again, the streaming services the streaming pennies come down the pipeline. That's important.
okay,
And again, I have to be an optimist about this, about the future of film. And as much as, yeah, there's nepotism and there's who in
right.
terms of like what's getting out there, the crap that's out there. I'm going to be
Mm,
honest with you.
mm,
Uh, you just have to be positive, and you got to keep moving forward and smile at all the right times,
mm,
and get into that particular boardroom and sell your movie. At
mm,
the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So, will I ever have to compromise my art? I hope not.
mm.
Right now, I'm not, because I'm an indie filmmaker and I'm happy with that.
Right,
Uh, but once they start to tell me that, yeah, we don't want this particular voice or this
right,
group of people, then
right,
it's over, and I'm going to go my way still. And that's why I'm an independent filmmaker. I'm an independent artist, songwriter.
right.
Love the freedom that comes with it. I have to tell my story.
Yes, good for you. That's really what it's about, especially for my viewers. It's just learning to find what you're good at, what your gift is. It may not be mine, but if it's yours, you have to get it out there. Like, just it doesn't have to be on the Beyonce level if you're a singer. Why can't you go sing in all the local restaurants? I'm just making that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Why do you have to be at Paramount Theater? I mean, that's nice, but sometimes if you don't want to be edited, you have to do your own thing and create your own table. So
yeah.
I call them real artists.
And there's
People who,
something to be said about the grassroots method. I'm all for that too. Again, it comes down to a simple fact. If you've got a great story, it
mhm,
will do its part. It will
mhm,
have its likes, but you've got to write a great story that's
right,
free from cliche and make it unique. Tell a
right.
story that speaks to people.
Mm, mm, wow. Yeah, how can we find your music? Where's it at?
I'm
What
on
you?
every music streaming service, so Spotify, iTunes. I'm under Evening Sun.
Okay.
That's SON. If you separate the words evening and
Okay.
sun, SON. That's me.
That's on
Evening,
Spotify.
yeah, Spotify, SON. Evening and sun, SON.
Got it right. Let's see. That should be right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that name, that pseudonym comes from
That's
you ever
nice.
read Their Eyes Were Watching God?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great novel, right? Of course. And at the end of the novel, uh, a certain character, something unfortunate happens to him down in Louisiana, I think Florida, after the hurricane.
Mm.
Anyway, so it was a great paragraph. It was just something beautiful about tea cake, and it, in his funeral, he was the son of Evening Sun and something else. I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm going to pick that up. So that's how my pseudonym came to be.
Nice.
You
I
know,
love it. Evening sun. I love it. And do you when you sing your students? I saw you created what was it? Let me see what the name was.
Songwriters Club. Yeah, the
Yes, the
Songwriters.
songwriting club. Hmm.
Yeah, well, that's going on 23 years now.
Wow.
Songwriters Club is a beautiful, eclectic community of
Mhm.
musicians at my high school. And
Wow.
what I do is I teach my kids how to network
Hmm.
together,
Hmm.
how to write songs,
Hmm.
how to create composition, and
Hmm.
how to tell their own story through
Hmm.
song. So we have 2 cover shows a year, we have 2 original showcases a year.
Hmm.
So in total, 4 major concerts. And these kids from ages 14 through 18 I've given them a stage. I'm giving them a platform to share their music. It's only a platform that I had wished I had when I was a teenager and never had it.
Right.
And it turned out this way when I was hired at White Plains High School, because I had a songwriters club back in the Bronx, but it just didn't have enough legs because I had a lot of kids who were working after school.
Right. So yeah, it's
We
hard.
tried it, and it always was difficult to get it off the starting block. But
Mm.
at White Plains High School, I had kids who really put the time in after school. They had the endeavor and the time to do it. But even more so, uh, it's so we've got all different kinds of demographics at White Plains. It's highly diverse.
Mm.
African American, everything you could imagine, Caucasian, and it's a district that works. And because it works, somehow my club seemed to work well. And we are a group of 60 to 80 students
Wow.
on average every week, meeting, collaborating, and writing music. So
Yeah.
a lot of if you look up WPHS
Mhm.
songwriter club on YouTube, you'll find it all. WPHS is White Plains High School Songwriters Club. WPHS Songwriters
Right.
Club, and we've got years and years of original songs and cover songs that kids have been performing.
I heard
So
one, and I was wondering if that was your daughter singing. It looked like your daughter, but
yeah,
it might not.
yeah, yeah.
That went
She's a
so
product of the club.
soulful. Oh my gosh. What was this song? It's a song we all know too. I meant to have it
Oh,
queued.
she must have had like I think she covered Alicia Keys.
This
She
was like
covered.
gospel influence. It was beautiful. She really killed it. Oh my gosh,
No,
killed
thank you, thank
it.
you.
And I just loved it. I was looking at the young people that I loved that they were really into it. Because we have to come up with alternatives for our young people. I know music is definitely one.
Yeah,
Definitely one. It's the one thing you can definitely, if you know, like you say something, sing, get something to sing that they're interested in. You can definitely keep them off the streets
yeah.
and keep them into finding their gifts instead of other stuff. Music that has always been a savior for young people. So I appreciate that.
It's accessible too. It's not easy to teach,
Right.
but my job as an advisor of the Songwriters Club
Mhm.
is to help my kids not only wear this wonderful clothing of a song and learn covers, and
Mhm.
through learning covers, they will then develop their own style.
Right.
You know, maybe Zyda my daughter Zyda Polanco is a product of Alicia Keys and some great standards from back in the day, Ella Fitzgerald, and you put all that together, and you've got Zyda Polanco today, and so a couple of R&B singers today. And my son is a product of the Songwriters Club too. So we're all musicians. We're all songwriters. As a matter of fact, we got
Is
a
your wife?
family show. I'm sorry, no, my wife. If anything, I'll give her the triangle, and she'll play the triangle. But yeah, it's funny. We've got a family concert this Saturday at a local cafe called Hastings Tea, and we're gonna
Hastings.
celebrate. Yeah, we're going to celebrate my son's birthday this Saturday by having a concert, a family Polanco concert. So I'm so psyched about it, because I got 45 minutes. I open up the show. My daughter that follows that, and then my son's got a 1-hour gig. A
Wow.
lot of family, friends, a lot of students are going to drop in. So
That's gonna be nice.
it's good. It's all good. I'm so happy, Tanya. You know, I'm doing my music. I'm writing. I'm teaching my students. I've got a good life, and I want to keep living this great life on the next stage, whether it's be directorial. I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask. What do you want us to remember most about your work?
That I had a truth to tell, a truth through music, a truth through the characters I create. I had a truth to tell, and that's what I want people to remember.
You know? Truth to tell. Wow. Well, thank you so much. You guys, make sure you check out Shadowlands on Tubi. Did I say right? Tubi TV?
Tubi TV, yeah. Tubi, Tubi
Right.
TV.
Yeah.
Or
Tubi.
Amazon.
Yes, and Amazon
Prime, yeah.
Prime, Amazon Prime. Check it out. It's definitely worth seeing. Very strong characters. Everything about it is just amazing. And I think helpful. I think young people that watch it would really get something out of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for that. I appreciate you taking the time to come and see us. Anything else? Any last plugs for yourself? Anything? Anywhere we got where to find you on YouTube?
Yeah, Shadowlands is it's not a compound word, so separate it when you search it, because apparently there's another Shadowlands movie that I didn't do, and it's together. Separate the words, and if you could look up Shadowlands, Dennis Polanco, it'll pop up on Prime, and it'll pop up on Tubi TV. And Tanya, I just really appreciate the time you're giving me, and
anytime.
you know, I really appreciate what you're doing in your podcast to really get the word out for like the middle class artist trying to really make it happen. You know, and
your first class, I just haven't realized yet. That's all right.
That's right. That's right. And again, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Hang out for 1 minute, guys. Thank you so much for watching again this week. We appreciate you. Try to share the video if you can. And again, you know, we don't care about ratings as much as we care about somebody out there is watching that may want to direct one day, may want to sing, and maybe thinking that they can't. And maybe through this interview, they'll realize that you can do anything you put your mind to. So thank you very much, Dennis Polanco. We appreciate you. And guys, go see Shadowland. Who's this? Somebody's got a comment here. Thank you both. Oh, okay. Thank you. We appreciate you. I see you out there, guys. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate you. Yeah, make sure you go and share the video. I appreciate you guys, and go see Shadowland. Check it out. Tubi TV, Amazon Prime. I will see you guys again on Sunday. Dennis, hang out for me for one moment. There you go. Bye.